Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. This is the final video in my series installing the skid plates on 2015 Toyota Land Cruiser. So we're going to go ahead and get started on that where we left off in the last video. Okay, next up is the fuel skid plate, which I've got it sitting here, and I've got the brackets laid out where they go. There you can see they're kind of different shape. So we've got those, and the little short guy goes by the rear on the driver's wheel. This is a heat shield. We're going to put it on first, and then here's all the hardware laid out. So let's go ahead and get started on this. Alright, so this heat shield here is symmetrical. So go either way. I believe the older ones had an angle on one side and not on the other. So this is going to go on here with a bolt through there, flat washer, a lock washer. I guess I can put it over here where you guys can see. Maybe you can see there. And a nut. And we don't want to tighten these up. Again, another carriage bolt goes out here. With the flat washer. Lock washer. And a nut. Boy, the gun belt slipped in some American hardware on me because a 9/16 fits these, but a 14 doesn't. Just slightly bigger than a 14. All right, so now we're gonna grab these brackets here, and we're gonna go under the car and get those mounted where they belong. Okay, so this is the bracket towards the front of the vehicle, front of the fuel tank. It's right in here by the drive shaft. I'm deviating from guidance here. I'm actually going to put some blue Loctite on these guys. I don't foresee ever needing to take them out, which of course means my fuel pump will fail next week. But for now, we're just going to put some blue Loctite on there. I'm just going to run these up in here by hand, get it hanging there. There we go. This is the one to the rear. Tank again, getting up in there with an extension, run it in by hand. We want these loose and flipping around because we're going to have to hook the skid plate to them. Get that up in there. There we go. That's nice. Okay, and the last one was this little guy right here. There we go. Okay, so we've got a couple bolts. Not sure why there's all these. The threaded hole is that one right there. So we're just going to start this bolt in there. These are original Toyota bolts. And we're going to start the bolt in there. And I don't think these are long enough for even what I'm doing here, to tell the truth. There we go. Alright, that one started. And that one started. And those are just to hold it in place so I can work on those brackets over there. So we're going to go do that now. Okay, we're in the rear of the fuel tank now. There's the drive shaft. I'm just going to get this lifted up so I can try to get a bolt in here. I'm going to run the head of the bolt through the back. Maybe. There we go. I'm going to run it through here. There. Washer. Lock washer. And now we can get rid of the floor jack, which is what I really wanted to do. Move to the front. that goes right there. Put the back. Trying to get that square up. There we go. All right, so now maybe that's why that other one wasn't going through that far. Flat washer, black washer, and a nut. Okay, so now it's being held up there by its own brackets. So I guess I got them in the right spot. Okay, one more in the very back. This is the little guy back by the passenger rear tire, rear wheel. Okay, gotta get it in the hole, Rob. There we go. All right. Lovely view of the back of my hand. That is in there. All right, guys, the fuel tank skid plate is on. Everything's torqued, Loctited. That thing was a booger. So sorry I didn't get all of that on camera. So all we got left really is one more piece to put on the car, and then we can go around and start torquing everything up, getting it all lined up and tightened up the way we want it. So that piece is this one right here, which is the front. So this row right along here, these guys, those hook into the engine plate, and then these here, those go up to the bottom of the core support. So let's go through the hardware on that. Set this down. Okay, so these are left over from the fuel tank. These were supposed to go into the frame over on the passenger side, and I used factory Toyota bolts for that. And this washer goes up through the, it goes behind the bolt that is in the front center of the transfer case skid plate. There's an Allen bolt that screws up in there. So we're going to keep that out and we're going to use that. Front. So let's see what we got here. We got 1, 2, 6 of those countersunk jobbers, 2 of these, 2, 3 little ones, and some washers. All right, so let's get that in place and we'll install it. Okay. So I need to torque these bolts that hold the engine plate to the frame. However, before I do that, I want to put my front plate on and make sure that it lines up. There's 2 bolts in the front that go up into these holes right here, and then this hole over here. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to hold the front plate up here, get a couple of the bolts started that go into the engine plate, wiggle it around and make sure that these holes line up. They're slotted the lengthwise with the car, but there's not a tremendous amount of room back and forth. So let's go ahead and try to get this up in there. It's got these, I don't know if you can see this or not, there's a little gap in here where my finger is, where that slides over the engine plate. So, just like so. And then I go right up in there, and there you can see right here, I can get a bolt started in here just to hold this in place. What have we got going on here? Is it that size? Yes. Okay, that'll hold that in place for now so it doesn't fall down. And we'll take a couple of these fasteners, which hold this together. So I'm going to have to get one down under here and look it through here and find out. there, I got that one started. One more on the other side, maybe. All right, there, I've got those two started now. So I know that the engine plate is in a good place. And I can get both of these bolts started. There we go. Those are started, those are started. So I should be able to torque down the engine plate where it's at. So I can only get to one of them, which is this one. That's tight. Might be able to get to that one, that's a different size. That one in the center was one of the smaller ones. The rest are 14. So if I stick this up through here, nope, that's not gonna go. I can get this one. Which means I can get this one. There, they're snug. Now, I can drop this back down and have full confidence that I'll be able to align all the bolts. Let's take this one out, and then we'll torque all of those. This one back out. Changing. Okay, so they're all snug down with this. Now we move on to a torque wrench. Do these need torqued with a torque wrench? Oh man, probably not. Am I going to use a torque wrench? Yes. These four get torqued to 43, and this one gets torqued to 21. Three, 21. That's not very tight. Okay, now we'll put this piece back on. They gave me the bolts for these, but I'm going to reuse the Toyota ones here. A lot of crap in my radiator I need to clean out. Okay. Alright, so now I get to try to align these little guys again. All right, Bud Bill doesn't give a spec for torque on these. They just said to snug them up, so that's what I'm going to do. They also said use anti-seize on them. Not today. Maybe next time I change my oil, I'll put some anti-seize on them. Run these guys in. These also get torqued to that 21 number. Which this thing will almost do. Torqued. Okay. Now that we've got this part done, we're going to go back to the transmission skid and torque down those fasteners. So I'm just going to... That feels pretty good. And that feels pretty good. I don't even know if you guys can see what I'm doing over here. No. There we go. Just a smidge more. There we go. All right. So those two are done. The next ones are at the very back of the transmission plate. It's way up in here. It's nearly impossible to get a picture on it. It's nearly impossible to get a wrench on it. But you can see that I'm doing something. All right, that's snug. Okay, this is the passenger side rear bolt in the transmission skid. One more. That feels pretty good right about there. Yep. Alright, going up and torqued. Okay. Now we've got the carriage bolts across the back of the transfer case skid, and we are done. Alright, so I have to torque these three across the back of the transfer case skid plate. Again, no torque specifications provided. So I'm just doing like we do on bolts, just tighten them. There we go. I can't remember if I put anti-seize on these or not. Didn't. These will come off, you know, when I've got to grease my front drive shaft. I have to service my transmission pretty soon, so I'll be taking all this stuff off again. Not the fuel one. So I had a camera issue. I thought I was filming, and it wasn't. A little operator error. But I'll show you right now what I did. Yeah, those three are good. And I still got this one guy here in the middle. Let me do him, and then we'll talk about that. I hope I can get it back in. Oh, it's paint in the threads. Okay. All right. We're going to give him a douse of blue Loctite. Oops. And this washer left over from the transmission skid plate kit, so, or the transfer case. So we'll assume that's for that bolt. It's too big. All right, that one actually tightened nice. So there we have it. Everything is torqued down. Everything is installed except for the lid where the drain plug goes. Oh, so what I started to say before is I thought I was recording and I wasn't. These bolts here, this one up here in particular, that's a real booger. It goes through the transfer case skid plate and through the fuel tank one and the heat shield. So I actually had to drop I had to drop the entire skid plate down to try to get that in, to get it in. So then I put all of these back on with blue Loctite all the way down, and there's one in the back too. I can't shine back there because I'm already blinding you with the light, but that's all installed, Loctited, everything's good to go, and that probably won't need to come off until, you know, the fuel pump dies or something like that. These center ones do come off for maintenance though, so I want to make sure I can get those off. But anyways, this is what it looks like when it's done, guys. Really really heavy duty, nice product from Buddbuilt. I'm extremely happy with them. Install wasn't that bad. If you're a do-it-yourselfer working in a home garage, you know, you can lay down here like I am and get this on. All you need is a floor jack and some jack stands and a few basic hand tools. And no point in paying someone a bunch of money to install these when you can do it yourself. The videos guys show doing it, you know, they've got a lift. But yeah, it's not bad. I do have some work to do up front. I've got to trim those plastic pieces, so let's go do that now. So these guys right here are the pieces in question that vendor recommends modifying to put back on each side of the skid plate. Let me see if I can show you how this is going to go. Okay guys, we're down here looking underneath the front bumper. This piece used to reside right here like this, and you can see that we can't put it back in because clearance issue right in here. And what the vendor recommends you do is modify it by cutting approximately through here where the lines up with the edge of the new front skid, across this ridge, and then back like this, and then over, I think, so that you can still put this bolt hole. And they even have a threaded hole in their skid plate for that. But just looking at what this does up in here, it's really just a little plastic splash guard. I think I'm gonna just leave it off. So I don't think I'm gonna go through all the trouble of cutting that up and trying to mount it in here. I'm just gonna leave them off. So that's, I think we are done with this project. So since I'm not going to put those plastic pieces back on, I guess that wraps up this project. I want to thank you guys for watching. Hopefully I've been slightly entertaining at least, and maybe helpful if you're doing work like this on your car. So again, thanks for watching, and I will see you next time.